What's going on, fam? Commanding Gen.YAHANNA here. Had to jump in with you with another one real quick. As you know, we in the Feast of Dedication. A very special time, man, for the children of Israel, and for us as a people in this nation. It's one of the greatest days you could ever have, or weeks, I should say, because it was a week-long dedication. It's so much to be educated on. It's so much to learn about yourself and the way to go forward, serving the Most High properly. For those of you that may not know, I'm not going, this video is not about going into that so much, but in an indirect way, but you can look it up for yourself. First Maccabees 4:52. Christ also mentioned it in the book of John, 10th chapter. It's mentioned that he was at Jerusalem during the dedication. Christ kept the law. Once again, another lie being taught by those that would destroy your culture and your identity and telling you that those laws were done away with and that you no longer had to follow them, yada, yada, yada. So anyway, you can look those up, and those it's been a phenomenal week. I saw a lot of you out there on Facebook kicking it live, having a good time. And let me tell you something. You may not know and understand. For every brother and sister that was out there in Las Vegas, big shout out to Captain Godal Hart. Big shout out to all the generals, man, that held it down out there, and all the captains, officers, troopers, all the wonderful sisters participating. You know what I mean? The children of Israel really got it on. And for everybody that was out there that's out there in Las Vegas right now for this week, I want you to know something. I want you to know and understand that what you are doing in Las Vegas, and you're going to see this in this tape, what you did this week in Las Vegas was so righteous, and you made the angels puff their chest out. The angels breathed in some air and puffed their chest out against all the religions and gods of this society, especially this holiday we coming up into heavily, which is Christmas. This holiday right here is definitely one of the most demonic holidays that go back so many thousands of years, and is the foundation of what you know today as Christianity. What a lot of people don't understand is that the Christmas celebration comes from thousands and thousands of years ago, the worship of Nimrod. And in that worship of Nimrod, our people and all the nations that was under the Babylonians had to worship that tree as though it was alive. That was forced on us. And here's what was worse. It was not only forced on us back then, but it was reforced on us again during the time of the Greeks. The Greeks turned around and came up with another version of it. Then the Romans did. The Romans did it even worse. They brought Christianity in and cloaked it. What you don't know today is that Nimrodic worship that you're doing in your church with that tree and all of that stems back to the collaboration done by the Roman Catholic Church with paganism and with Catholicism that they created, stealing from our Christianity. It's a mess. They pretty much put all these religions together and made a mess. And now that mess has emerged as the biggest religion on earth, the Roman Catholic Church. And that Roman Catholic Church spawned tens of thousands of Christian churches. And those Christian churches in the Black, Latino, and Native Indian communities, those Christian churches now all celebrate Christmas, most of them anyway. And they celebrate this Christmas, and they put this Christmas out there in the attempt to bring you into the same Babylonian worship, which the Roman Catholic Church, the Romans, the Greeks, the Babylonians, and so many other empires held on as the holy grail of what religion should be. And it's a very demonic, very evil religion. Plenty of suicides will go on this month, especially under the crises that has gone on. Many people are going to miss their loved ones and suffer painfully. And many are going to drink themselves to death, crash cars, do evil things to people. Whoring will be at an all-time high because of everything that is going on under the cloak of this religion. The sadness and the pain will outweigh all of the so-called joy that they will propagate to you. They turn commercials on with people eating turkey and ham with soft lighting and bells and whistles and making it sound so wonderful. But what's really going on in every ghetto and all these homes is misery and conflict and upsetness. Millions of black men and women in prison, all their families missing them, all their relations broken. They themselves in these prisons broken and saddened and hurt and you know, degraded because of this captivity that we've been in for 400 years. This is the state that we're really in as a people. And it's sad, but it was wonderful. It's wonderful. And I know the angels recognize the wonderful joy and upliftment that the brothers and sisters did to dedicate themselves to the Most High, and not just dedicate themselves to the Most High, but to understand the dedication, to understand the fact that that dedication was the fight against such an evil thing. Antiochus Epiphanes, okay, and the Seleucid dynasty were determined to break us and take away our laws, statutes, and commandments, which made us great and world famous, and is what brought us the Bible today. They sought to wipe it out, destroy it, like they do today with these religions and with these lifestyles. It's the same plan. And to see brothers and sisters not celebrating Christmas, but coming together to celebrate the dedication of when we resisted being pressed upon with these horrible, horrible, evil, demonic religions that go on today, including yours in that church and yours in that mosque. Our people are finally coming together and breaking from that spirit and breaking from that. And it is going to mean our rise. It's going to be painful at first, like any birth. But through the grace and the mercy of our King, Yahawashi, we will break free from the demonic ways of society today and become that holy people the Lord sought for us to be from the beginning. And let me tell you something. If you raise the glass out there in Vegas, man, I salute you. I wish I was be out there with y'all, but other circumstances kept me over here on the East Coast. But enjoy yourself. Be safe. Everybody have a good time. Now, let me get to the story that I wanted to bring out to you. And I'm going to read a couple scriptures. I hope you'll hang with me on it. Man, this came out of like earlier this week. This was in the Root. Okay. Zach Lindley put this one out. Zach Lindley put this out, and this is a hell of a story that he put out. And here's what it says. It says, black doll with braided hair described as colored, dirty braid fashion pulled by Amazon. Meaning they describe this as dirty. I mean, it's just like as a dirty thing. Matter of fact, let me get you a picture of this wonderful little doll that they stole from our identity. Bear with me a second, fam. Let me get this thing right. Get a picture of this beautiful. This is the doll right here. This doll just went on sale on Amazon, but Amazon pulled the doll. And the reason Amazon pulled the doll was because of the description of the doll on Amazon. And I'm going to read you the description of the doll. And big shout out to the sister that caught it. There was a sister that caught it. I didn't get her name. But a sister caught the ad and put them on blast. But I wanted to bring this out because of how evil they think of you. This is never, ever done to any other race. This is never done. Let me read it. Let me read what it says. It says, oh, wait a minute. Do I got the caption here? Yeah, here's what it says. This was the caption when they put the ad out. It says, Dolly yearning, 14-inch adorable black doll with casual red skirt and colored dirty braid fashion. Gorgeous doll for ages 3. Interactive playtime, BPA-free safety product, well-designed collectible box. Now, explain this to me. Explain how this hair of hers is a dirty braid. How is that? This is what's done to us every day. Now, here's what you got to understand. This ad for this doll went out all over the world, not just in a small microcosm, but all over the world. Everywhere in the world, this ad went out. And listen, and heathens were buying the doll just based on it having dirty hair, being called, something degrading. Now, you never hear that from another nation. When do you hear any derogatory? And first of all, let's back up a little bit. First of all, somebody had to sit down and manufacture this doll. The manufacturing process alone is an incredible feat. You got to have, you know what it takes to manufacture a doll, okay, over there in Southeast Asia, Korea, Vietnam, or wherever, Hong Kong, wherever they had it made at, Taiwan. You know what it takes to do that? It's a lot of work. It's a lot of designing, coming together. You got to work with factories to manufacture it, all that. Now, they put all that together. Then they even had to put together the outfit the doll had, everything the doll had. And then on top of it, then you have to come up with a caption. Now, you go to Amazon, the biggest retail outlet, online retailer in the world, Amazon. But when you bring your product to Amazon, you sit down and think about what it is you're going to write because you want this product to sell. So you got to sit down and think about it. And those Asians that put this together sat down and thought about it and put the damn doll out and used the word dirty hair, which shows you what they think about us. And here's the amazing part. We're in all of their wig stores, all over the country, probably all over the world, buying hair from them. And meanwhile, they just look at it as dirty hair. They probably look at us as though us buying the wigs from them is because our hair is horrible. So that, yeah, we should buy our wig. We should buy wigs from them because we got dirty hair in their minds. And that's the thing with a heathen. When you go to a heathen and you need whatever that heathen has, that heathen takes the advantage over you all day long. And I'm sorry if it doesn't sound good and nice and sweet the way you would like it, but it is the truth about how you are treated as a human being in this earth. And this is not necessarily in America. This is from all over the world. This could have been put out from anywhere. But let me read the root story. The root story is mainly how Amazon pulled it. I'm going to read a little bit of it, all right? Before I go to scripture. This will be, like I said, this will be a quick one. This will not be very, very long at all. It says, Amazon sure seems to have a difficult time making sure it isn't used to sell products from vendors that use racist descriptions to advertise their merchandise. Meaning they're like, why Amazon ain't catching this, man? Recently, the company had to remove a children's doll from its digital marketplace because some overseas companies thought it was a good idea to describe a black doll's braided hair as colored, dirty braid fashion. Imagine that. Would show you that's them same Asians who you buy all your hair from. You get all your nails done from. You have no sense of self-economics. You want the economics, you want the success, but you don't have no problem with a whole entire nationality just bleeding the piss out of you and your people. Like, what industry do black people have that they 99% control in the Korean, Vietnamese, Southeast Asian market? Like, what is it that we produce? Which is why, when I first read that the Lord said, you are a holy people, separate from all other nations, I said, this is racist. But now I understand way better that this is necessary, because if you don't do it, these heathens, though you give them billions, I mean, we spend billions on hair care products, all of that, billions. Buying all of stuff, every Korean stores, they come over here, you can't even understand them. You cannot even understand them. But that's how fast they up and running and making money in this setup with you here. And yet, not only do you have no taste of any of the wealth that they have, but on top of that, they look at you as you just filthy. You look at you as filthy. And it is amazing that you can't see it, which is why, once again, despite people's feelings and attitudes. The Most High called the priest of the Lord to stand upon their feet and to speak up and fix this problem with his people. Like he told Moses to go up in there and to wake them people up, man. And have done it ever since, all the way up to our King Yahushua and us, his disciples afterwards, man. And we would love to hear, I mean, us as a people, we would love to hear, you know, General Yahanna, man, when you going to talk about us coming together and some love and some this and some that. That's all good and nice, but not when there's an enemy at the gate. And you look at this maybe as a small thing. I look at it as huge. What it took to manufacture this doll and to describe it the way it did and to put it out on Amazon shows you the callousness. And here's what I wouldn't mind. Okay, I would not look at it as something if that was just something the Koreans put out. We don't buy anything from them anyway. They could sell whatever the hell they want. They want to talk about us that way. We'll make $1 and we'll degrade them. But that's not the case. The case is that you pour billions into them. You probably, you know, financing whole countries over there off of hair and hair care products and nails. And meanwhile, this is the real spirit that they have for you. And here's why it's important. It's fine now. While life is smooth and cool, it's okay. But when life gets bad, when the Lord starts dismantling these empires and getting ready to bring them down into the Third World War, that's when you're going to see how strong you made your enemies against you. You're going to see then that you financed and empowered and made wealthy people that hate you, people that would sooner see you dead, people that look at you as dirty and filthy and nothing. And if you have any love for black people, the wonderful Latino brothers and sisters, man, our native brothers and sisters are humble people, are beautiful people, are cultured people that deserve everything that Christ has coming for them. You got any mindset in that respect, then you would look at that as, you know, that is a breach of security, man, in the black community. Okay, it's a diabolical breach of our self-security. They not allowing you to do it. You do not got a fried chicken joint in every single Korean neighborhood. You don't even know where the Korean neighborhood is. Let alone have a fried chicken joint in there. Let alone bringing back, you know, tons of cash to the black community. Like the black community ain't sitting good with Benzes and Lexuses out front their houses off of making money off of the Koreans. You ain't sending your kids to Harvard and Yale and Cornell. You understand? You ain't doing that off of selling fried chicken to the Koreans or anything else. You're not doing that. But they are doing that to you. They are doing that to you. And it is horrible, man. And it is a sad, sad thing that the monsters, man, have come to this, man. I mean, this little sister right here, I mean, that's obviously a spitting image of some black girl. They went through all the trouble. They went to all the trouble to make this doll, to give her the light brown eyes, to give her the pencil eyebrows, to put a little weight on her. Like black women usually have a little more, you know, fullness than other nations. You understand? They went through putting the hairstyle exactly like your hairstyle and then turned around and called it dirty. And then turned around and called it dirty. You should see the wrong being done to you on such another level, man. On such another level. So I'm going to get one scripture, one set of scriptures. I got a few scriptures on it. But I hope you allow me to read a couple on in this chapter, because this is such a good time in this feast of dedication. It's a time to evaluate this in this feast of dedication. First of all, you should go read it. Like I said, First Maccabees, 4th chapter. You can start around the 52nd verse if you want to get the gist of the dedication. I suggest you read the whole chapter so you can understand the lay of the land of what went on with us. And this was only some 135 or so years, but I think it's like 137 years before Christ. This event took place. That's why Christ was at that feast of dedication in Jerusalem. Okay. He was there for those things that the Lord called us to do. And what's so beautiful about it is here's the psychological beauty of it from the Lord. That instead of celebrating a religion that first of all angers God, Christmas, instead of spending all of our monies and funds to empower and enrich these heathens that's all around us, bleeding us to death, instead of getting further away from the care of ourselves and instead being depressed and in misery and divided and separated and heartbroken. You got parents can't see their kids, kids can't see their parents, all that because of beefs and problems and stuff that we have because we did not learn these laws, statutes, and commandments. Why? We're not following the Most High. Instead, we're following the Babylonian religion. And your preacher in the church, that piece of garbage, that $2 hole, he's right there at the forefront pushing you about some Christmas garbage, man. Okay? So here's the psychology of it that's so, the Lord. Okay? So the ironicness of the Most High. In that, here you are, normally worshiping a religion that have nothing to do with you, the Babylonians, that in fact enslaved you, that Abraham had to escape from pretty much, to get away from because of all the wickedness and witchcraft the Chaldeans were doing, who today are still being worshiped by the so-called white man. You can go on the History Channel and all you hear about is the Anunnaki, and these different groups that were in that Babylonian summer area, these Chaldean mystics and witches that rule them societies with prognosticating and looking into the stars and all of this and predicting and giving up stories about the creation and about life and God and the angels and brainwashing societies back then, even to this day, coming back to do it again. All of that is what you've befallen in these religions. And the beauty of the Maccabees is here God gives you a religion, a dedication. Not a religion, but a dedication to yourself and your security and your safety. A dedication to you looking at who is harming you and destroying you and picking you off and peeling you off on the edges. And now you can look at it and celebrate a past victory of fighting against it as a reminder that you need to be strong, and you need to be strong for you and yours. A reminder of what is important that you should focus on, man. That mistletoe and candy canes is not what's important, but being strong to serve the Lord against the enemies that have harmed God's people. And let's not act like they are not enemies. I mean, corporations even fight against each other. We ain't even talking about enemies outside the country. Even corporations do espionage and scheme and plot on each other, let alone us. These plottings and these institutions and these ways of life and these religions that we've taken on have brought us not only to poverty, but brought us to drug addiction, brought us to drug violence, brought us to crime against each other. It's like all these things we are doing to each other and we're blaming ourselves for it instead of saying, wait a minute, wait a second. What about these people over here and the gods that we worship that follow them? What about the billions we pour into them every year? What about all that we're caught into that's considered a culture or a society, man, instead of our own? Instead of one that helps us, one that puts us on alert, one that educates our children on how we should be. Well, guess what? That's what the Lord is trying to give us, man. I'm running on. I said it was going to be short, right? Keep it moving. All right. Get a little more on this article for y'all. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it was supposed to be. And that's the spirit we should be in, man. Okay. According to TMZ was the one that first reported on it. The dolls manufacturer Dolly Yarning is a Chinese company that has been affiliated with Amazon for less than a year. They're a newbie. They popped up. Show you how they think about us. Dolly Yearning, 14-inch adorable black doll with casual red skin, and they go on to read the whole caption. In fact, one of the company's melanin redacted dolls is sold under the description Dolly yawning 14-inch adorable doll with denim suit and colored headbands. Fashion gorgeous doll for ages 3 and interactive. Blah, 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 blah. Meaning they have other dolls sold under other names. Not this doll. For this Christmas, they said, man, you can get this doll with the dirty hair. You understand? Listen to this, y'all. There's another part in the article, and y'all can go look this up for yourself. I just caught this just now. It says that CNN Business reports that in August, Amazon had to remove shoes from its site because the color of the shoes were described as, and according to the article, the writer of the article, I shit you not, nigger brown. They had to remove some shoes that were called nigger brown. This is what they doing. And why do they do it? Because that's how they think of you. Because here's how a predator thinks. A predator doesn't appreciate you because he can eat you. He laughs at you when he can eat you. You're the victim. And he loves to be the predator. So he laughs at you. He spits on you. He looks at you as nothing because you are what he eats. And you have to stop being the sheep for them and be the sheep for the Lord. And then you'll see something. Okay? Incredible, man. Incredible. Okay? Wish I'd have grabbed a picture of them shoes. Incredible. All right. I'm going to the scripts on it, y'all. This is one script, and this is so, this script right here is so right on point in what we've been suffering and what we're going through. Psalms 44, starting at the 8th verse. Here's what it says. In God we boast all the day long and praise thy name forever. Salah. We gonna praise the Most High's name, and we should, and boast in him. And here's why. Because he's the one that's really on our side. No other nation has a God on their side. That's why they had to create gods. But the one God that everybody knows exists, he chose the children of Israel. That's an honor bestowed on a people that is beyond the measure and beyond the pale. And in captivity, hard to understand. Hard to understand being in this captivity. But this psalm is going to help you to understand it. Such a good psalms, this psalms. Psalms 44, 9th verse. But thou hast cast off and put us to shame and goest not forth with our armies. That's why we fail in everything, man. We're failing in everything because we break away from him. When we come back to the Most High, that's when we rise in every way. Got countless stories in the scriptures on how we rose, became mighty and strong as a people once we came back to these scriptures, man. Once we came back to our identity. Check it out. Okay. 10th verse, Psalms 44 and 10. Thou makest us to turn back from the enemy, and they which hate us spoil us for themselves. Those that hate us, they hate you, and they still spoil you for themselves. Them Chinese hate you, man. Call you dirty. Call a pair of brown shoes nigger, nigger brown. They hate you, but they still get rich off of you. They made the doll for you to buy and for others to buy. They made the black doll for you to buy and others to buy, even though they hate you and hate you so much. They're going to sell a black doll and still call the hair dirty. They're going to sell a pair of shoes to black people and still call it nigger brown. Amazing to me. When you could never do that to them. You couldn't even begin to do something like that to them. Let me see you go make an Oriental doll and call it the yellow doll or some derogatory term used for Asians. Find a derogatory term used for Asians, make an Oriental looking doll, put it on Amazon, and see the backlash that you would get. It'd be more than be pulled. It'd be all over the news. It'd be talked about. It'd be forget about it. It'd be the worst thing in the damn world. And black people be coming to you saying, how could you do that? What were you thinking? Why did you do that? They'd be saying that. We so lost as a people. We so blind. We so blind in this sea of this world. They have done to us what they did in ancient Egypt and in Babylon and in all the nations that have had us in captivity, and the Greeks under the Romans. They have brainwashed us to a level you cannot even begin to imagine, man. Let me read on. Psalms, and then once again, why the Bible is so important, because it is the tool that unravels the mystery, man. It is the tool left here by the hands of the Lord through the prophets whom he raised, continued on through the disciples that followed Christ to the end. We begin to understand what we've never understood and what the nations have never clearly explained to us. Here's what it says. 11th verse, such a true statement. Psalms 44:11. Thou hast given us like sheep appointed for meat. I used to say this even before I read this. We like their food, man. We're the meat for them. Like every animal needs meat. Whatever animal it is, it needs some meat. They got to go eat something. Something's got to sustain it. And you are what sustains them. You are the meat for them. You work until you die. You work until into yourself into poverty. They take that money and turn it into meat. You're the cattle. Like the Lord said, thou hast given us like sheep appointed for meat, and hast scattered us among the heathen, man. And we are. We scattered among them, and we're just meat for them. 12th verse, Psalms 44:12. Thou sellest thy people for naught, and dost not increase thy wealth by their price. Yeah, we like nothing. We sold like nothing in this place, man. Treated like nothing. The proof is this pandemic. I just got a report that the amount of homeless Black and Latino people across this country is exploding. Exploding all over this place, man. I mean, we've been living one paycheck, away from being in the street for three and four generations. Probably more than that. I'm being conservative with it. 3 and 4 generations living right off the edge. And the minute the pandemic came, we got wiped out. No savings, no economic program, no religious structure. Churches turned their back and locked the damn doors. Coddled their cash up under their stuffed their cash up under their bed mattress and said, to hell with you. I saw T.D. Jakes the other day, this fool. He walking around in a sweatsuit, pretending like he down to earth now. He done took off them suits for a minute, of course, because everybody's suffering. So he don't want to look like, he's getting all the money. Same with Creflo Dollar. If you notice, these preachers, they dressing down. They dressing down because everybody's in absolute hell, and they don't want to be seen looking all, in all their glory and gold and diamonds, because they know it's going to piss people the hell off. Okay. Let's go on. 13th verse. And let me tell you something. The minute we stop doing these things, we're going to put fear in all these nations, just like it says in the scriptures, man. When we stood upon our feet, fear is going to come to them, not because we're going to do anything. Christ is going to take these empires down. But here's where the fear will come from. The fear will come from knowing what they have done and how they have eaten you. You the only one blind and don't see that. They know they eating you. They come from the other side of the world to set up a business in your neighborhood, because that's how big of a sucker you are known for. That's why he can make a doll and call you dirty, because they all the way on the other side of the world. Probably most of their greatest dream is to get out of that hut that they living in and make it to America and set up a restaurant in the black in the nigger neighborhood. That's like it's probably like their biggest talk when one of their family members go back to their home country. Their family members go back to their home country. The biggest talk is probably about how much money they make off of you. And they probably talk about you like you're disgusting and filthy. You're dirty. You know what I mean? You this, you're that, because they see the worst of us and they get paid off of us, no matter how poor we are. They could be in the poorest ghetto and they still make good money off of you because you are their meat. You are their meat. And it is shameful. Let me read on. 13th verse. Thou makest us a reproach to our neighbors. So all these heathens around us, a scorn and a derision to them that are round about us. 14th verse. Thou makest us a byword among the heathen, man. We like a byword among, and let me tell you something. Let me just look this up right quick, because I got to give you the technical definition. Listen to this. This is a technical definition for the byword. First, let me read that part of the scriptures again. And you know Deuteronomy, it also talks about that we would be a byword. Here's what the Lord said. This is 14th verse, Psalms 44:14. Thou makest us a byword among the heathen. What is a byword? A word or expression summarizing a thing's characteristic, or person's principles. Listen to this good. A person or thing cited as a notorious and outstanding example or embodiment of something. What does notorious mean? Let's go to notorious, y'all. Notorious, famous or well known, typically for something bad. Something for some bad quality or deed. It's shameful, man. It's shameful. Like we become a byword. We become a word that's known for being filthy and disgusting. Just like she said, dirty hair or criminal, or the word thug. Thug is an East Indian word for criminals that are in India. But meanwhile, that word is stuck on you and you're made to be that. When you're the princes of the earth and you're the wisdom of this earth, you're the wise ones of this earth, but you put down like the worst thing in the world. You understand? Like you're the notorious one. You're the byword. Shameful, man. And here's what it says. Same 14th verse, a shaking of the head among the people. And that shaking of the head is like, just like it said in the description, something shameful, like something that's just, like, look at this, is like, they're just disgusting. This is how they think of us. And which is why our lives are in danger to have these and to join them. Some of our people joining them. You joining their philosophy and their ideas and thinking, part of their way of life and all of this nonsense, man. When you the lost 12 tribes of the children of Israel, man. Let me get a little bit more. 15th verse. My confusion is continually before me, is David speaking, and the shame of my face hath covered me. Like this confusion is continually before him, man. Like to be looked at this way and seen this way and treated this way is shameful. It's sad. It'll keep you confused. We're sitting around wondering why they doing so much better than we are. Meanwhile, they spending all kinds of money to keep you that way. All kinds of paper to keep you that way, man. Okay. Let me get the sister back up there. There she go. Made by the Chinese, fam. Y'all got to comment on this one. You know what I mean? Y'all got to help me understand this here. A couple more of these verses. I'm going to get up off it. All right. Psalms 44:16. For the voice of him that reproacheth and blasphemeth by reason of the enemy and avenger, man. That's the sad. 17th verse. All this has come upon us, yet we have not forgotten thee, neither have we dealt falsely in thy covenant. And that's why it's so important. And it was so righteous and it was so beautiful to see the brothers and sisters in Nevada raise a glass for the Most High. Those are Hebrew Israelites of the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Them brothers and sisters, they ain't celebrating Christmas. There wasn't no Christmas trees up in there in them videos. Okay? Wasn't no mistletoe and eggnog and none of that. But what was in there was the feast of dedication. The dedication for the brothers and sisters that lost their lives and died upholding the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments, man, and not allowing our temple and way of life to fall to another nation's desires. How the hell we gonna live a life where our life is about what another nation wants it to be about? Like we are their children. You tell your child, listen, you're going to go to school this time. You come home, you can play the Xbox this time. This is the time you got to go to bed. They got to live their life according to what you lay out because you the parent. You understand? You the one to tell them, no, you can't do this. You can't do that. You can play sports. You can't do that. Can't go smoke weed. You the one decides those things. How's another nation going to decide what our nation does? What we do? What our culture is going to be? Wake up, man. Wake up. Wake up fast. Okay. Okay. Well, 18th verse. Our heart is not turned back, neither have our steps declined from thy way. Those that turn to Christ and stand with Christ, their ways, they're not gonna fall off, man. Though thou hast sore broken us in the place of dragons. That's such a right metaphor for what we're going through, man. Like, we as a people, we are sore broken. No identity, no homeland. We don't know where our homeland is. We don't know our identity. We don't know our culture. We don't know any of the things that made us great. We know football and basketball, rap, you understand, this, that. We know the things that's here, but not the things that were before here that made us so much greater than we ever could be here, and will make us so much greater once we're gone from here. All empires end, except for Christ's empire. That's why they have to all end, so that his empire can rule. So all empires will go down. And it's a beautiful thing that he rule, because righteousness and justice will rule in the earth. For real, not just talk. Okay? So here's what the Lord said. Psalms 44. All right. 19th verse again. Though thou hast sore broken us in the place of dragons and covered us with the shadow of death. And that's our life. It's our life here. Here's what we must do. 20th verse. If we have forgotten the name of the Most High, or stretched out our hands to a strange God, shall not the Most High search this out? For he knoweth the secrets of the heart. 21st verse. He gonna seek it out. You got to give up these gods, man. You got to give up these religions. Give up these ideas and all this crap we've been following. And watch the Most High raise these people up, man. Our people. All 12 tribes, man. Psalms 44 and 22. Yea, for thy sake are we killed all the day long. We are counted as sheep for the slaughter. The brothers and sisters that stand up, they hate it. You ain't part of society. It's like you an outcast of society. But you, in fact, are in the right. Even though you looked at as an outcast, as crazy. Man, man, you just a racist. No, man, I'm going by what these scriptures say. Nothing to do with that. But it is the most important thing, that you be a man of war and look at where the warfare is being done to the Lord's sheep. To not do that is to fail in your job, to fail in your mission, man, to fail in your duty. Okay. 22nd verse. Yea, for thy sake are we killed all the day long. We are counted as sheep for the slaughter. 23rd verse. Awake. Why sleepest thou, O Lord? Arise, cast us not off forever. Wherefore hidest thou thy face and forgettest our affliction and our oppression? Them brothers and sisters in there, they're singing and dancing and having a drink and talking, and in that dedication this whole week, they calling on the Most High to not sit there and stand by, but to bring us back, man. And we praying for that. We praying for the thing that made us great long before we came to the captivity of America, man. Long before we became slaves in this empire, we looking for that thing that made us great then. 2 more verses, fam. For our soul is bowed down to the dust. That's it. That's for real right now in some of these cities. In some of these cities, man, our soul is bowed down to the dust. Our furniture and our things piled out all out front the house. Starving day and night, figuring out how we going to eat. Our belly cleaveth onto the earth. 26th verse. Arise for our help and redeem us for thy mercy's sake, man. Let's keep this week of dedication, man, for the mercy's sake of the Most High, that the Most High have mercy on us and change the tide of this place, man, and change the tide of this empire and everything that we've suffered here, man. Hey, man, I'll catch y'all on the next one, man. Hey, join me live Monday nights, 9 p.m. You know how we do. All right, y'all. Shalom.